Thanks, Chrissy, and thanks to everyone who's stuck around to listen to the Encounter Resources story. We're at the forefront of copper and critical minerals exploration in Central Australia, with a focus on Western Australia and the Northern Territory. We're one of the largest project tenure holders across the Northern Territory and in Western Australia, and we're focused on some of the frontier areas that are seeing a lot of activity in this current critical minerals and copper boom. We've got a very simple share structure. We're well financed through our own funds, but also through our partnerships with BHP, South32 and IGO, who provide significant additional funding into our projects. We've got a board with a mix of commercial and geological skills, the forefront of some of the developments in thinking in geology. They've got a lot of skin in the game. They've put a lot of money into the company over the years and hold 14.4% of the register. We also have IGO and Silver Lake Resources as key shareholders. So given the amount of time today, I'm not going to go through the extensive portfolio that extends right across Northern Territory and Western Australia, but I will focus on the West Arunta, where our Aileron project is going to be a big part of the activity on ground for us over the next 6 months, and where we're seeing the potential for rare earth carbonatites and IOCG mineralisation in an entirely new belt. Our partners will continue to invest in their projects. BHP has just finished a drill program up at the Elliott project in Northern Territory. South32 is about to kick off a drill program at the Jessica and Carrara projects, also in the Northern Territory, and IGO is getting ready for another field season in the Paterson province. So this is really the strategy behind Encounter Resources. It's quite a deliberate strategy that was put together 5 or 6 years ago to be at the forefront of the new mineral fields in Central Australia, with a focus particularly on copper. We've got the skills in-house to generate ideas, to generate new projects, with a focus on sediment-hosted and IOCG copper in Central Australia, while keeping a very clear eye out for rare earths and lithium potential. With those projects in hand, we look whether we want to partner those projects to advance them, whether that's the best way to get from A to B, which is a discovery, or to advance them 100%. So we've got a number of projects in partnership with some of the world's leading mining companies, and over $7 million was invested by them in our projects last year, and I expect a similar amount is going to happen again this year. Drilling will be kicking off in May with South32 and the others to follow. So the presentation today is going to focus on the West Arunta, which we think has the hallmarks of a new copper critical mineral province in Australia. So this is obviously a very remote part of Australia, but it's also a very unique part of Australia. You've got a 100+ kilometre belt of Proterozoic geology near surface, and inside that entire slide I think there's 7 or 8 drill holes that have been completed, and most of those have been completed over the last 3 years. We drilled the first drill hole into the project at our Worsley drill hole back 2 years ago. The rig unfortunately broke down on that hole, but in the top part of that hole we drilled up to 0.8% rare earths with copper, gold, niobium and a whole lot of other diagnostic indicators that were in a potential new IOCG belt. It was a clear magnetic standout anomaly in the data set. More recently, WA1 to our east and to our south has drilled 2 mineralised carbonatites, which were unknown in this region before, and that has really opened up a new search space in this part of the world. So this was a picture of the first drill hole that we drilled into the district. We were very excited when we saw that. We saw all the sort of characteristics you'd like to see on the margins of a new IOCG. The cover depth, we really didn't know when you're drilling the first hole into a region. It turned out to be about 5 or 6 metres before we started to get through the cover, so that was a terrific result. We saw the geochemistry we'd want to see in an IOCG region, and a number of the elements, including particularly rare earths, which was anomalous in the drill hole. After we got that completed, we got the drill hole age dated. It's identified a new suite of granites at about 1.6 billion years old, the same age as Olympic Dam, with a hydrothermal event shortly thereafter. So it really did tick a lot of the early boxes. This is showing a bit of a close-up of the magnetics in the region. The three targets that we're going to be drilling first. We're going to complete the drill hole at Worsley, which is a pretty interesting magnetic target, likewise at Crean, and we're also going to be drilling Caird, and you can see that proximity to the Looney discovery from WA1, and that's a survey that we completed last year. But one of the keys to finding mineralisation in this belt is going to be gravity. That's showing the area that we've completed helicopter-supported ground gravity so far. It's identified a number of really interesting targets, particularly the Caird anomaly sitting on that endurance fault is been modelled as a pipe-like feature down to about 800 metres. The Shackled anomaly is also very interesting, and our team, while they were out there completing this ground gravity survey, landed on an interesting looking outcrop, and there's not much outcrop out here, and sampled 0.5% rare earths off that. So this really is a clean sheet of paper. We're gathering the new data sets. We're going to drill those three targets at Worsley, Crean and Caird, with that starting in between April and June this year. And we're going to kick off a project-wide Falcon survey, which is going to cover about 100 kilometres. And that is going to be pretty crucial for what we do going forward. Gravity's been very successful in identifying the mineralised carbonatites at P2 and Looney. It's also obviously one of the fundamental data sets that's been so successful in finding IOCG deposits in South Australia under 300, 400, 500 metres of cover, whereas here we're dealing with a very shallow cover depth, and we're told that this Falcon survey could be very successful in this environment. So we're really looking forward to kicking off the drilling, and we're really looking forward to kicking off a very large geophysical gravity survey in May this year. So quickly, just conscious of time, I just want to touch on quickly on two projects in the Northern Territory, where I think we are the largest exploration landholder in the Northern Territory, when the Australian government invested over $40 million in pre-competitive geoscience over the last 5 years as part of the Exploring for the Future program. We were at the forefront of a pegging rush that's taken place in the Northern Territory. Of the portfolio, we've joint ventured farm-in agreement with BHP at Elliott. We've got two earn-in agreements with South32 at Carrara and Jessica, and about a third of the project portfolio still sits in 100% owned Encounter tenure. This has seen a number of major mining companies secure ground in the Northern Territory in recent times. I'll touch just quickly on the Zeta target that's going to be drilled by South32, commencing on schedule in May this year if all goes to plan. That's going to be part of a 6,500 metre diamond drill program that South32 is going to be drilling across those two prospects. So this is right in the north of the project where Zeta is, and when we initially we had the magnetics. It was an interesting magnetic feature, looking like it was on the margin of a major intrusive body. We completed detailed gravity, and it's a coincident gravity feature. And quite fortuitously, you can see there's a line running through it. That's a Geoscience Australia seismic line right across the top of the anomaly. And we came up with a very interesting seismic reflector at depth and some interesting structural context for this anomaly. Three independent data sets. That confluence of those targets is going to mean this is going to be the first place that's going to send a drill hole in that South32 farm-in. We've also got lithium that we'll be advancing. We made an announcement about that yesterday. Please come and see us in our booth if you want to hear more about that. It's a major exploration push. We've got significant investment being put in the ground by our partners in our projects, and a big push on our 100% owned projects across Western Australia and Northern Territory, and I'll look forward to keeping the market informed over the coming weeks and months as a very busy 2023 field season takes place. Thank you very much.